following podcast contains adult themes such as drinking and violence. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to Table It, a micro RPG podcast. My name is Tim, and I'm one of the hosts and editor of this production. Table It is an excuse to get my friends Max, Matt, and Manny to play micro RPGs with me. We are all interested in game design as well as actual play, so each game will get a little review at the end. Stick around to hear our opinions, as well as if we would play this game or put it back on the shelf. For our fourth episode, we were playing Aw Dang, Mothman Won't Move Out. He said it was just for the weekend by Paul Matijevic. You can find it on itch.io. That's where I found it.
Hey, we're back.
We're back. Welcome back to part 2 of Aw Dang, Mothman Won't Leave. And he said it was just for the weekend. Should I do a quick recap?
No, don't worry.
Okay, cool. All right, so picking up with Mothman and Herbert in the darkness meeting Rhiannon, we're going to shift over to Ricky and Josh as you continue to stare at this burning pyre of Kevin memorabilia. You all are deciding to head out to the Hootenanny, I believe, and kind of scope things out there.
Yep. We'll snag my car.
Sure.
Because yours has way too much gaming.
I don't have a car.
We're taking my car.
Esports pros don't drive.
Great. Mothman did park directly behind you.
That's why I said I stayed outside a little bit longer to repark his car.
That's right.
Okay. So, the way is clear. As you pull out from the driveway, you do kind of like... You weren't able to get it perfectly, so you have to wiggle out of the parking lot, and it does like ding Mothman's front headlight, which does nothing to a VW bug. But you now have a busted tail light.
All right. Okay.
And
it's the weekend. I've got another day to fix it before I have to go places. We'll be okay. It's gonna be all right. Whew. All right. We got this.
Great. And you head to the town square. This big sort of pavilion in the middle of the town. There are food booths. There are people selling jewelry and crafts, pumpkins as far as the eye can see, festive decorative gourds, stages all around on the town green. There's one performance happening in town hall, just all over the place. There are twinkle lights strung up around, and like full-ass jack-o'-lanterns, even though Halloween was 2 weeks ago.
Do any of the food trucks have pumpkin tempura?
Yes, 3 of them.
Perfect.
And they're all like right around each other, and they're like, the people are like hawking. It's like, we have the best pumpkin tempura. No, we do. Come over here.
Pardon my ignorance. What the heck is pumpkin tempura?
It's just pumpkin fried in tempura.
What's tempura?
Like in Japanese food.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fried stuff. Real good.
Yeah. And you see all 3 have a line, like 12 people deep. People in this town love the pumpkin tempura.
I'm gonna hop in the line that appears to be the shortest.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna keep talking to people and gradually like sliding myself past. So I wind up getting to the line about 4 or 5 people sooner than I should have.
I
You
think
are
you're
a
gonna have
smooth
to roll.
talker.
I think you're gonna have to roll for this. Yeah. Yeah. So the regular 2, and then I think the smooth talker definitely applies. What else you got?
I'm a smooth salesman, and I do Tough Mudder for fun. Okay. So
I don't think the Tough Mudder applies, but I will give you smooth talking.
Alrighty. So the good thing is I've actually found some of my coworkers and Tough Mudder friends that are here. So we have a group that is ready to like kind of like say, hey, let's go do this. So we have a group ready to go. That's the good thing that happens out of this.
Okay.
The bad thing is people notice what I'm doing and call me out for cutting in the line.
All right. Let's do it. Ooh, nice.
I have a 5 and a 6, so I get both of those.
Yeah. As you're kind of chatting around, you see a couple of your Tough Mudder friends in like the other lines, and you can kind of wave out to them. And then one of them is like, "Oh, Josh, good to see you. Coming on down for the hootenanny. What are you doing later?"
We're here. We got a friend. We're gonna try and get him back on the horse, and because he came off of a breakup, we're looking to get some kind of fun going. And tell me what, Ronnie, you still doing that Bronco attraction?
Oh, you know I am. Come on over. We got them bucking Broncos. We got 3 of them this year.
Oh, yep. We're putting it on. We'll bring it to the bell. We'll see which one of us can hold on longest.
Yeah, you talking about Matthew?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's great. He's been off the horse for a while. We need it. Yeah, let's hook him up with someone. As you're having this and you're like moving in and out of the crowd, you bump into this woman who's got a very severe bob. She's got 2 kids, and she was like, "Excuse me, did you just cut in front of me?"
Oh, I'm so sorry. Did I completely forgot? No, what's tell you what, like let's see, like totally my bad. Totally didn't get it. And as we get there, because I'm guessing we're like a person ready to go.
Yeah.
As we get there, it's like, just hold on one moment, and I go up to the thing, buy my food and food for her and her kids.
Yeah, she kind of like gets up to pay, and they say, "Oh, it's been paid for," and they point at you, and she just kind of and like pulls her kids away and goes over and says, "Well, let's get you guys some candy apples," and she walks off into the crowd. So, but yeah, you both have some pumpkin tempura ready for you. As you're kind of going around, you're seeing like the headliners for the Biscuits and Gravy as they're playing in the town hall, and then you see a flyer for like entertainment, and closing out the night is a very special performance by Jolene and her backup boys, as they are called.
Is Kevin there?
Jolene is kind of on like the main stage, like Herbert said, she's doing the MC. She looks beautiful, radiant, decked out in like oranges and golds that really set off this like flaming red hair that she has, porcelain white skin. Everything about her looks too perfect. There's some wind blowing around, but it doesn't seem to touch her hair or her clothes. And her eyes are piercing, like almost venom green, as she's like, "Welcome on out to the hootenanny, y'all. We got Biscuits and Gravy coming up right now. I know you all have been wanting to hear them, so let's get them going. Come on, boys!" And Biscuits and Gravy comes and starts playing a setup on the stage.
And Kevin is with her.
Kevin is off to the side with a group of other young men that look exactly like Kevin. And they're all wearing skeleton jumpsuits.
Like they're dressed up like skeletons.
Well, it's like a onesie.
Okay.
But like a black onesie with like the bones on them.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go over to them and see if there's a spare skeleton onesie.
Ooh, I like that. This is going to be a roll.
All right.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. Let's see what your stuff is.
I am good at programming and martial arts, so
I don't know if any of this is going to apply, so it'll just be the 2.
Slackers love onesies, though.
Slackers do love onesies. Yeah. I think that's probably what draws you to it. So what is the good thing and what is the bad thing?
All right, so the good thing is that I will slip into, you said, what are they called? The good boys?
Jolene and her backup boys.
Okay, so I'll slip into the backup boys without them noticing. I mean, I have a different build than these guys. I've got long, scraggly hair, a beard.
These are all like hairless. It's like dolphins with blonde hair.
I'm like a head shorter than all of them.
Of course, yeah,
naturally.
But so the good thing is I slip in, none of them notice that there's now a stranger in their midst. The bad thing that happens is that Kevin clocks me. Kevin knows who I am.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right, let's do this roll.
That's a 6.
And a 2.
And a 2.
Two. Okay. So, I assume you're putting the 6 on the good thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna put the 6 on the good thing, and so I slip in the other. I keep wanting to call them good boys. The other backup boys think that I'm one of them.
Okay.
But Kevin knows that So Kevin knows who I am because he's been to the Nickelodeon
yeah.
All-Star Brawl tournaments that we've been
That's
to.
right. We established that before.
So that he doesn't know me by Ricky. He knows me.
He knows you as Tomato.
Tomato, yeah. So I roll in, I zip up the onesie, I walk around the corner, and I just kind of sit down waiting for the next thing. And Kevin recognizes Tomato.
Yeah, you zip up the hoodies. They're those type of onesies that like zip all the way up. So when you flip the hood up, it zips all the way up.
Okay,
so
okay.
like you have the skull face.
Skeleton face.
But you haven't flipped it up yet. And because this is made for someone much broader and much taller than you, it's kind of like a kid wearing their dad's like work clothes, and it's like, I'm going to the business factory. So it's you kind of have to like, roll up the sleeves a little bit, tuck the pants into your shoes a little bit. But you go over there, and right before your you flip the hood up and zip it up, Kevin comes over and he looks at you and says, "Is that Tomato? Tomato, it's good to see you out here. How you doing, boy?"
Hey Kevin, it's going pretty good. How you been?
Yeah, I've been great. I've got this gig working with Jolene, and it's, I didn't know you were part of the backup boys here. Is you excited about the big finale tonight?
Yeah. No, I'm a backup boy.
So like a second string backup boy.
Yeah. They needed me. Someone had to drop out.
Yeah, well, Johnny's been having a couple of issues with his Achilles tendon, so if he goes down, you're right in there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see you. How'd you get to know Jolene here?
Oh, we met in college.
Man, college? Right on.
Poor Biddy.
Yeah, she's great. I just love her so much.
Yeah. She's pretty cool. How long have you known her?
Well, I guess it's been about 3-4 weeks, maybe. Yeah, think about right about that. It's right about the time I broke up with Steve.
Right, Steve.
Yeah, you know Steve. He's
Yeah.
a great guy.
Steve the Mothman. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what his gamer handle was.
Yeah. That's how I know him. It's his
Yeah.
Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl
Yeah.
online username.
Tell you what, yeah, he sure loves that little black and white monster he plays.
Ublina, yeah, he's
he's
amazing at Ublina.
Yeah, it's great. Well, we got to go practice. You going to set in for get one of these last practices before? All right, let's go. And Jolene comes up off the stage and he's like, "Jolene, I didn't know you knew my buddy Tomato." And she looks at you and says, "Tomato, was it?"
Yeah, Tomato.
Well, as long as you can keep up, I guess you can be one of my boys here. Get in line. And she goes to the back of the stage and she says, "All right, everybody, let's one more time before the big finale. 1, 2, 3, 4," and it goes into a very intensely choreographed dance.
Uh-huh.
Oh shit!
That you're just kind of trying to keep up.
See, as a esport martial artist, my martial arts ability allows me to be pretty good with physical coordination,
so.
all things considered.
Yeah, let's do a roll about it.
Yeah.
Also, maybe esports for improvising, thinking quick on your feet.
Yeah, I'm pretty
I'll
quick
give
on
it
my
to you. I'll
feet.
give it to you.
Performance.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I'm loving the fact that mechanically on this, I don't know if I should save this for the review or not, but the fact that everyone's okay with you being a backup boy, even though Kevin knows you're not supposed to be here.
You rolled a 6, man.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that bright.
He's not, and he's kind of maybe under a spell.
Okay, so speaking of which, I'm rolling to participate in a practice dance number. as a good thing, I think my good thing is that I can recognize. Okay, so player thoughts. I think this dance isn't just a dance. I think it's part of this like spell that's happening. This is choreography to a spell.
The meta knowledge.
The meta knowledge. So
Right.
I think a good.
I'll actually give you a Mothman surprise on that. I like that.
Okay. So I was gonna say the good thing is I recognize what this like routine is doing, that it is part of a spell, and then I might know how to stop it.
Okay.
Okay.
And the bad thing is I think I flub up the dance and have called out for never practicing, and I get berated and I don't get put in the final number.
Okay. All right. Roll 3d6 and let's see how this goes.
I've rolled a pair of sixes
And a 3.
and a 3.
Oh, man.
So it's your choice if you want that Mothman surprise or not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the Mothman surprise lets me ask a question, correct? Do you guys have an idea for what a really good question that might be worth missing out on the good thing or getting the bad thing?
Well, if you get called out for never practicing, like, yes,
So-
that's a bad thing in this particular instance,
Yeah.
but it means you're just going to be kicked out and you have a cool new skeleton onesie to hang out with.
The best.
Okay, so I think I will. Okay, I think I'll put 1/6 on the good thing of I recognize that this is some sort of spell thing and I know how to stop it.
Okay.
And I'll let you figure out what that looks like. And then I will. My cat is doing so many screaming.
She's the best.
Okay, so 1/6 on the good thing, which is you incorporate into the dance move, recognize it as part of the spell.
Yep.
Okay, and then where are you putting your other 6 and 3?
I think the 3 will go to the bad the bad thing. So the bad thing partly happens.
Okay.
And then I have the Mothman surprise. I get to ask a question. Right? With the 6.
I believe the Mothman is. So the 3, you're putting the 3 on
Yeah.
the bad thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
okay.
so I get the good thing, I do a partial bad thing, and then I get the surprise.
Okay. So, Jolene says 5, 6, 7, 8, and the music starts low, and you notice all the guys are doing this incredibly intense choreography. You're able to slip in seamlessly and kind of get to it.
It's a Taekwondo kata. I know.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a lot of like martial arts moves and everything. There's like flips and they're catching and Jolene is dancing in front of them. And then the bad thing that happens is you move right when the entire group moves left. And you bump into Johnny, who trips, and you hear him scream out in pain as his Achilles tendon. You can hear it audibly, twang.
Oh no!
Oh my god!
And they look at and Johnny's like, "Oh God, I can't walk. And Jolene walks over and she looks at you and she jabs a finger in your chest and she says, "Now listen here, you're everybody has these moves down pat and has been for weeks. You're trying to ruin the whole thing. Well, I guess you're our only alternate, so I guess you're moving up to one of the regular backup boys. Get on up. It looks like you're going to be practicing from now until this thing goes off."
Yes, ma'am.
And a couple of the other boys drag Johnny off, and he's just.
Oh, man.
Medics come over and they bandage him up, and he's like, "Am I ever going to walk again, Doc?" And the dog's like, "Mm-mm."
Oh, no!
But through the course of this, you may ask your question.
Okay.
As you feel Mothman's voice prick up in your head and his essence wrap around you as you're now in the thick of this.
Okay. So part of my good thing was also knowing that this is part of a spell, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can definitely see that it's part of the spell, and I'll get to that in a second.
Okay. So do you guys have any idea for what my question could be? Because I think the one that was like what's about to happen, or like the last one was what did Mothman do this time? I think it's very funny.
Yeah.
Well, the best part is those are all example questions. They're not just actually there.
Yeah.
I would actually, going completely meta on this, who would be the most helpful to stop it before it gets worse, or who would be the most helpful in containing the damage?
Okay.
That's good. That's good.
Because we do know that with the clap of thunder, everything got set in motion.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I guess my suggestion might be like, you know that it's a spell.
Yeah.
Would a reasonable question in the Mothman surprise be, how do I stop it?
Well, that's
Yeah.
part of his
Just
good
like-
thing, is he knows how he...
That was part of your good thing?
Yeah.
Was to
Yeah,
also
I was
stop
like,
it.
I
Oh,
know
not
that
just
it's-
to identify it. Okay.
We just haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
Got it. I misunderstood.
Okay. So yeah, I know that it's a spell. I know that there is a way to stop it. What?
Would you like to know how to stop it before you ask the
Oh
question?
no, I have a. I mean that's kind of what I was. I have a better one, unrelated exactly.
Okay.
How do I break the spell on Kevin?
Ooh, okay. So, as Johnny is getting taken care of, Jolene starts walking around with checking everyone's like makeup and onesies and everything, and she starts at the end of the line and she unzips one of the guys' hoodies, and as she does, you hear her mumble something under her breath, and all of the other guys just kind of like stop, almost as if they're petrified, and like a glassy look goes over their eyes, and she unzips the hoodie and she takes a pen. Or like a Sharpie, and she starts doing this intricate like design of like runes and sigils on their chests. Zips him up and goes back and like just goes down the line, and you know that it's the runes that actually like whatever this spell or ritual is, these runes are a big part of it, and if you can maybe like disrupt some of the runes, at least on you or on someone else, you may be able to disrupt the spell a little bit.
Well, conveniently, I'm covered in tattoos.
Yes.
Right.
Great. And so in order to break the spell on Kevin, you notice that she has almost like a stranglehold on all of these guys. And the only way that you can think of to break this on Kevin would be to somehow bind or contain herself.
Okay.
But yeah, she eventually gets down to you, unzips your hoodie, and kind of like frowns at all your tattoos and says, well, I guess I'll do what I can. And she draws it on you and goes off to do another rehearsal. And it's nothing. You can like smudge one of the things before the ink dries.
Okay.
So you got a little disruption there. And you're kind of you had to kind of pretend to be stunned
Like,
as
whoa.
well. Yeah.
It's very easy for me to pretend to be stunned.
Yeah. We zip back into the darkness,
Right.
where a woman steps from the darkness, Rhiannon, a woman in a black lacy shawl, looks to be like maybe in her mid-40s, black hair cascading down her face, very like your witchy hippie aunt. She's got like a long flowy skirt with Doc Martens and like rings and bracelets and necklaces all get
Beautiful.
out.
Perfect.
And she looks at you and she says, well, Dave, lovely to see you again. He's like, how's it going, Rhiannon? I need your help. And she says, oh yes, I've seen the rise of the Eldritch One. And he says, yeah, you know all about it, Jolene. And she's like, Jolene. Can tell there's some definite bad blood between
Wow,
here.
that bitch.
Yeah. And she says, well, Dave, who's your friend here?
Hi. Yeah. I'm Herbert. Yeah. Our friend, Dave, has been hanging out, staying at my place, and we've been working on helping him get back on his feet and maybe get himself back out there in life. And I place an awkward, intended to be comforting hand on Mothman's shoulder, which is like way up here.
Yeah, like
Tap,
way,
tap, tap.
like you have to extend your whole hand. And she says, "Oh yes, Dave, I heard about the breakup with Kevin. How are you?" And he's like, "Honestly, I'm not doing too good. And now Jolene's about to rip the whole world apart. I don't know what I'm gonna do." And she's like, "Well, calm down, sweetie, calm down. Here, I have just the thing for you." And she pulls out a scroll, and she says, Jolene and I, we have some beef between us. There's a lot of bad blood between us." And he says, "Yeah, I know that." And she says, "Well, every time she rolls into town, I gotta get the old scroll out here." And she hands it to you, Herbert. And she says, "Yeah, you unroll the scroll."
Okay.
And it looks like a piece of music. And she's like, "Yeah, Jolene, she's got this weird bardic thing going on. She likes to do things with music and song and dance ritual. And this is the only thing that we've ever been able to find that can bind her. It's an ancient, powerful Sumerian spell."
Oh.
And you're looking at it, and it's not in English. You can tell that it's music of some sort, but you can't read any of the lyrics or notes or anything. So she hands it to you all, and she says, "Yeah, if you can find someone who can play this music, who can read it, I unfortunately cannot. I always had to outsource that. But if you can find someone to do it, then that usually binds Jolene for another 25 years or so."
Who do you usually use? Who did you use last time?
"Well, let me look." And she walks back into the darkness, and you hear as like she's going through like a Rolodex or something. And she comes back, and she says, "Well, so this is the gentleman I usually use." And she hands you a business card. And you look at it, and the name on the business card is Joseph Brubaker.
Oh, man. I know him.
Oh, you do? So simple.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Used to be an ancient language professor and knows quite a bit about translation and
Wow.
music theory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it must not be a very good industry. He's in the real estate business now.
Oh, that is strange.
Yeah, kind of a thorn in our sides, to be honest with you.
Oh, really? Yeah. He's always been a little bit prickly. He just comes and goes, and I never know where he comes from or where he goes. And I will say, if it wasn't for him, Jolene and I would have got married a long time ago. And I would be under her spell.
I can't.
It's so good. Okay. Well, all right. Here, can you, and I do the whole thing where I hold up hand like 1 minute. I'm like, okay, I can just call him right now. Give me 1 minute, okay?
Sure.
And so I step outside, and I like paw my way through like some black curtains or something to find like.
Mothman's like, "Turn right, darling. You got to turn right."
And I turn, and I find like an open window, and I take out my phone. Did you guys respond to my Venmo at all?
I paid off a little bit more than my share of the third.
I texted you back real quick. Thanks. On our way soon. Got news.
Yeah. Kyrie's got like everything got up. She's got the receipt there, or they've got the receipt there for you to sign. There's like 4 bags of stuff, and it's all like wrapped nicely and everything.
Yeah. So I take out my phone and the business card, and I will call.
He picks up on the first ring and is like, well, Mr. K, glad to hear from you. What can I do for you this fine evening?
Yeah. I have a message for you from Rhiannon.
Oh, you know Rhiannon, do you? I guess it is about that time. What can I do for you?
Yeah. You know that Hootenanny Festival?
I do indeed.
Have you taken a look at the posters lately and noticed who's emceeing tonight?
Why, of course. I believe it's, there's Jolene and her backup boys opening for biscuits and gravy.
Yeah.
And then, oh, what's this? A special performance to follow.
Yeah. That's some bad news. And I have this piece of music here, and I have my PhD and everything, but even this is a little bit beyond me. I understand you're something of an expert in these sorts of primary documents.
Oh, well, I don't know if I call myself an expert necessarily, but yes, I was there when it was written.
Oh, wow! Holy shit. I take this in. Well, yeah, Mr. Brewbreaker, that's not the weirdest thing to be happening today. All right, what would it take for you to come on down to the Hootenanny and do a little reading for us, a little performance for us?
Well, I just so happen to already be down here at the Hootenanny, and I've got your roommates in my sights as it appears right now. I'm watching it. Seems like one of them is already performing at this here Hootenanny.
Oh shit. Okay. Okay. We're gonna be there as soon as possible. I have the script. Can I bring it to you and we can do the performance?
Let's do a roll about this.
Okay.
See how well you can convince him.
Okay, I want to sweeten the pot.
Okay.
By telling him that I will let him do, and I know I'm way out of my lane because I don't own the property, but I will let him do a showing on the house. Okay. In exchange. And I kind of cross my fingers behind my back. Like, we have no intention of selling, but I will let him do a showing.
Okay. So the good thing is he comes down, no problem.
Yeah, the good thing just
out of the goodness of his heart.
He'll go for it.
And the bad thing is the showing.
Yeah, the bad thing would be he won't do it unless I agree to this.
All right.
This showing and driving this bargain.
Yeah, I think this is just the two. Yeah,
it is. I don't think there's a lot else that's helpful here. Both ones.
Oh,
snake eyes.
Oh no. Well, he says, well, now, Mr. K, seems like you all have something I want up there, and I'd be willing to do this for you. Tell you what, I know you're not necessarily at liberty to, sign over rights of the property. There may be a couple things within that house that I'm more interested in than specifically the land itself. You let me into that house for about, let's say, 2 hours by myself. I'll come down and translate this for you.
Will the house be livable after that? Will everything stay as it is?
I can give you my honest word that I will only take one thing out of the house and will do. You will find the house exactly as you have left it, and any damage or anything done to the house will not be of my doing or my own hand.
I will work it out with Josh. I think we can make that work.
I will meet you there. I will see you in 15 minutes. Nice doing business with you.
Immediately I send you a text don't be mad.
Okay. I'll get into my character bit in a bit from that, but I have to know. When Joseph said that one of your roommates is performing, what went through Herbert's mind?
I think the initial reaction was that is so out of character for both of you to be performing in this event that something has gone horribly wrong and I don't know what it is.
Great. You're able to, I think, just call into the darkness and we gotta go.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so on the way to there, did you drive?
I think we took the bug Didn't we take the bug, the Mothman's
No,
bug?
because they
Oh,
had
you
to
had to
drive
move
out
it.
around it,
yeah.
So we walked. So I think we'd probably just hightail it down the street. I don't think we'd even go back to the house.
Cool. Yeah, you're hightailing it down the street. You get into town, and then as soon as you get into like the festival, Mothman starts getting distracted. Ooh, lights. Ooh, candy apples. Ooh, hot dogs. Oh, is that pumpkin tempura? And so he's like trying to like. He's like, well, let's just stop over here and get us some cider. How about that? Oh, a candy apple. And it takes you twice as long because you're having to, like, pay for everything.
Of
and,
course.
Like,
He pays
he's got,
for
like,
everything.
an armful of food, sipping on a pumpkin spice latte. Yeah, and he just keeps getting distracted at all the twinkle lights and wandering off because,
Yeah.
let's be honest, he is a moth.
Yep, for sure. For sure. Any open flames, he's like,
Lamp.
But, yeah.
we're doing that thing where you're trying to meet up with friends at a crowded place and you're like looking over the tops of people and like trying to text, like, where are you?
How tall is Herbert?
Oh, me? I'm just like, I don't know, normal dude size, like, I don't know, 5'7" or something.
4 cubits? I don't
4
know.
cubits. That's how big Cotton Eye Joe is.
Right?
Somewhere between 1 meter and 2 meters.
Yes.
So I'm not like weirdly tall or distinctive.
Yeah, so you're about halfway through Biscuit and Gravy's set. And getting late into the night, the sun has set at this point. Things are like starting, it's like the height of the festival. Like there's this kind of like fever of like, we're drunk, we're like almost sort of bacchanal level. And this kind of like fervor. What is Josh doing as he saw Ricky disappear backstage with Jolene and her backup boys?
Saying he knows what he's doing. I know that he doesn't, but if I tell myself, I'll believe it eventually. But basically, it's a lot of catching up with the right people, social butterflying, checking in on people, seeing how people are feeling, because it's colder, it got darker, weird weather change, and I know Mothman was freaking out about something. So, like, are people acting the same? People acting weird? Like, just trying to get the general sense of it. Meanwhile, finding all my groups and like, hey, how's it going? What's going on? Buying beers for the right people, lubricating the right. It's the full social experience going on.
Great. As you're talking to some of your Tough Mudder friends, you feel a hand on the back of your shoulder. And Joseph Brubaker, Cotton Eye Joe, as you all have begun to call him, turns you around and says, well, Mr. Josh here, nice to meet you here. Having fun at the Hootenanny this evening?
Been having a good time. Just one second, Mr. B. And
Yes.
I turn around. Hey, guys, it's been good. I'll catch you back in a little bit right after Biscuits and Gravy Place.
Yeah, take care, man. We'll see you later.
Peace out, dudes. All right, Mr. B, what can I do you for today?
Well, I think you know what I'm here for. Where is your little school teacher friend?
Oh, what, Herbert?
Yeah.
I have no earthly idea. What's going on? And I pull out my phone and start trying to check my text like frantically.
You have a bunch of texts for me.
Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?
Okay, don't be mad.
I find
where are you?
And then where are you? Where are you? Where are you?
Yeah, so all it is legitimately, I did a thing, don't be mad. 5 minutes later, I'm here. 30 seconds after that, where are you? Next that, why is Mothman after the pumpkin tempura? Oh my god, there's so many lights. Where are you?
Where are you? Where are you?
Like, oh. Herbert's here somewhere. And I do know what you want. But considering what you said, gotta be honest, Mr. B, you got me on a bit of the back foot here. Because all Herbert told me was, okay, don't be mad.
Well, I don't think anyone's got to be too mad. Herbert didn't step too much out of his lane. He said, it's not like I'm going to take your house out from under you or anything. I just need to get in there for about 2 hours or so. There's something that I think I'm very interested in, more so than the land that it's on top of. Something that belonged to one of my family members in the days gone by. That I have reason to believe is in one of them locked rooms of yours.
Mr. B, you realize you could have just told me that from the get-go and we could have gone and found it for you? You're more than welcome in the house. We could have gone and found it and had no problems getting it to you.
Well, you see, this item is particularly valuable, and it was one of those, best-kept secrets of mice and men, so to speak.
Still. You could have just
Hobbit, come over here!
Hey, hi. I come in and I'm holding all the shopping. I'm holding Mothman's drinks that he keeps starting. I'm like holding all of the shit, and I'm like,
I reach out and grab like 3 of the drinks, toss them in the nearby garbage.
and I pull out from my jacket a scroll, which I hand to you, Joe. And I say, I think you know what this is and what it's for.
I do indeed. He kind of looks at it and is like, looks up at the stage where Biscuits and Gravy are like, kind of finishing up their last set and says, any of y'all particularly musically inclined?
Not even a little bit. You?
I didn't think so.
How many 5-gallon buckets can you carry my tone in?
And he says, let me go talk to my associates over there, Mr. Biscuits and Lady Gravy. Go ahead.
Just so you know, Mr. B,
Yes.
I'll admit I'm not comfortable just letting you into my house as is.
Okay.
However, you said you're just looking for a particular thing in there?
I am indeed.
If you're willing to let me go through it with you, it's yours. You get to take it. There's no transaction necessary.
Interesting. Why don't you make a roll about it?
Yeah, why does he need to be in there by himself?
That's what
Yeah.
It's my house.
Yeah.
It's been in my family for generations. Plus, he might know which key opens the freaking door.
Yeah, no kidding.
So what's the good thing? I guess the good thing is like
he agrees to my new terms.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, He, the terms of like you can get the magic artifact or whatever the fuck, but he's also going to
The bad thing is
quantum lock
this.
Jolene again.
The bad thing is he misses his chance to catch Biscuits and Gravy.
Oh, like
I
in the
that.
discussion about this.
Like in the time.
Okay. All right. Yeah, let's do a roll about it. I'll let you do smooth and salesman. Yeah. So
So that's 3.
yeah,
Closing
that's
the
3.
deal is your specialty.
Oh shit!
Nice.
Woohoo!
Double 6s.
Nice.
sixes.
Pumpkin spice lattes are for closers.
Yeah, he thinks a minute here and he says, perhaps that can be arranged. And he pulls a key out from his lapel. And you notice that the symbol on the key matches the locked symbol in the basement. And he says,
That's where that key is.
Well-
That makes so much more sense than Mr. B. Thank you so much.
yes, I'll keep this right here until such a time, but...
Perfect. Oh shit, they're getting off. Go.
Go. Yes. He tries to shake your hand as he runs away and gets Biscuits and Gravy as they're coming down from the stage, and you see him kind of talking. And he's like, pulls out a pen and starts like jotting down notes on the thing.
On the ancient scroll.
On the ancient scroll? Oh, my lord.
And as you're watching, it's kind of glowing, and Biscuits and Gravy, their eyes kind of glow themselves, and then they nod, and they take the scroll, and they go to, there's a stage directly across from this stage. And they start heading there and like setting up. In the meantime,
We're gonna get a Scott Pilgrim battle of the bands.
As this is going on, I imagine someone is coming around with like a little bar situation
Like
and
a
like
shot girl and
shots and stuff, and I'm like, hey, and I get shots for all of us, and I hand you one, and I hand Mothman one, and I take 2 for myself, and I'm just like watching this about to go down.
Mothman throws one back, and he looks around and goes, "Hey, yo, where's Ricky?" And that's about the time that Jolene...
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, and we
you
all
hear-
like look up.
You hear tap, tap, tap on the microphone, and it's like, "Well, how y'all doing this evening? Wasn't that so great? Let's hear it for Biscuits and Gravy."
Now, okay, don't be mad.
we got a super special treat for you all out here tonight. I need everyone just get right on up close to this stage.
You
as
know
close
how he
as you can
disappears from
get.
time to time?
Uh-huh.
Well, old Jolene's going to do a very special performance with me and my backup boys. Hit it,
no.
maestro.
You see that one that's 2 feet short?
And the
Oh,
music
no.
starts to play.
You're a little short for a backup boy.
A little short for a backup boy.
I can't see a thing in a zip-up hoodie.
And Mothman looks up and goes, "That's him! That's Kevin!" And he starts to float like he's about to go. By, like, you grab his legs and he's like taking both.
We're
of
like
you up.
pulling him down.
Jolene starts to sing. And as she sings, Mothman says, "Yo, cover your ears. This ain't gonna be good at all."
Okay. So I cover my
literally
ears.
reach over because he's still floating. Mm-hmm. I reach around his ankle to hold him as far down as I can
Yes.
to then plug my
Doing the
ears.
same. So both of us, for our listeners, have our hands clasped around our ears and our arms looped over an ankle each.
And he's just dragging you like over the crowd. And as Jolene begins to sing, you notice a spell weaves itself over the audience, and people start to sway back and forth. The backup boys, you can't see them because they're covered by the hoods, but their eyes begin to glow, and they kind of glow through the skeleton masks. Everyone except for Ricky's, who had smudged his thing, and they go into the dance. And as Jolene continues to sing, wrapping everyone in these magic tendrils, the ground begins to shake, and the sky begins to thunder, and a tear opens in the sky, and you see black tendrils reaching out. At this moment, all the backup boys unzip their hoodies, and they're just wearing like gold briefs, and all the
I look fantastic.
the runes are glowing, and as it begins to glow, you see that they begin to age rapidly, all except for Ricky, who is doing his best to try to interrupt this dance.
Yeah.
What are you trying to do at the moment?
So I think my main goal is to try to disrupt the runes on Kevin.
Great.
So I think if you said it was written in Sharpie. Mm-hmm. So I think so Sharpie needs to be hit with a solvent. So I think I'm gonna snatch some alcohol from someone near the edge of the stage, and then dunk Kevin in what I imagine is probably Coors Light,
Of course.
and then try to smear the symbols enough that
At this point, Mothman has like flown to the stage, and like drops both of you on there as like Jolene is doing all this, and she turns to you, and the backup boys start coming after you. Mothman had a Coors in his hand. You
So I
can grab
snatch
that. So, and I'll actually give you a Mothman surprise. here.
excellent. So this is a roll I'm making to try to.
To try to douse Kevin.
Okay.
And he looks at you and is like, "That's my Kevin. I ain't gonna let you have him, you eldritch bitch."
And is Kevin like a Crypt Keeper-esque, like rapidly aging? While this
They're
is going
rapidly
on?
aging, but it's more like a year every like 2 minutes.
Oh my
like you can
God.
tell that they're aging.
He's
It's
not Crypt Keeper yet.
Yeah, not Crypt
Okay.
Keeper yet. But you can tell like whatever this spell is like fueling Jolene and like leeching the life of
Okay.
these guys. And like it's starting to seep into the audience as well.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna. I have 2 dice on my roll. Could I add martial arts for my ability to defend off the other? I keep wanting to call them good boys. To defend off the backup boys as I do this
Yes,
thing.
I think I will. Yes, that is totally.
Could we make an argument for prepared because you saw the Sharpie runes instead of been
Yes.
looking?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
you know where to look.
You specifically, because you rolled so well, that you can be prepared as well.
Okay.
So yeah, roll 4.
So I'm rolling for. So I have one. I got my one Mothman surprise. I've got the good thing of disrupting the spell on Kevin. Mm-hmm. And then a bad thing of What's a bad thing for this? I mean, I don't get to Kevin, But that has to be I either get to Kevin or I don't get to Kevin. So the good thing is getting Kevin cleaned
I think
up.
the bad thing is Jolene notices you and
Yeah.
notices that you're not.
Oh
that I'm
yeah,
not-
the cover
yeah,
is
cool,
blown.
cool.
That
Yeah.
you are not being affected
All
by
right,
this.
yeah. So good thing I saved Kevin. Bad thing I get spotted by Jolene, and Mothman surprise. All right.
Okay.
I rolled a 4, a 5, and 2 2s.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, man.
Where are you putting them?
All right, so I'm gonna put the 5 in the good thing.
Okay.
I want Kevin saved.
Okay.
I'll put the 4 in. Okay, actually, you know what? I'm gonna put a 2 into the bad thing. I get spotted entirely. She recognizes I look fantastic in the briefs.
Hell yes.
You know, pot belly tattoos, scraggly hairy dude.
I'm here for it.
But I have a 4 in my Mothman surprise.
When did they put Harmar Superstar on stage?
Okay. So the 5 is going in the good thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think with the 5, you see Mothman boom, hit the stage with the 2 of your roommates, and you immediately grab the Coors Light out of Mothman's hand and run across the stage, and I think you just clock Kevin in the head with the bottle, and like it knocks him out, and the beer spills over his chest, and you're just
rub his chest really
rubbing
fast.
his chest, and Mothman's like, "Hey now,
But
we can talk a little bit later, but let's get through this first."
my hands come out completely covered in black ink.
Yeah, just covered in black ink, and you look up, and Jolene is staring daggers at you. At this point, her teeth have descended, and her mouth like stretches up past her ears, and her jaw unhinges, and it's full of rows of like shark teeth.
I wink at her.
She winks an eye at you, and as she does, a green ember flies out and like sets the stage on fire. It hits the alcohol that had been spilled, and there's now a ring of emerald fire around the stage. And she, now that you are looking at her and her fully eldritch shape, the fire burning in her eyes, her red hair turning into like just straight up like fiery tentacles behind her, she raises herself up in the air, and her red manicured fingernails are now dripping with gore and viscera. And she looks at you and says, "Oh, little boy, you don't want to be doing that to old Jolene." And she slashes you across the chest.
My chest.
Oh no, my chest!
My tattoos.
But Kevin is successful saved. He's unconscious, and he's no longer aging rapidly. And Mothman, once he goes down, you hear him say, "Oh no, Kevin!" And then he kind of sways and gets one of those. You would know this is his premonitions.
Yeah.
And this is the Mothman surprise. What would you like to ask?
How can we stop Jolene?
So as you kind of go down, as she slashes you, you see across the stage Mr. Brubaker is like yelling at Biscuits and Gravy, and he's like, "Get this going now." And basically, if you can distract Jolene long enough for them to get set up and play this song, it will if you can just live through the next like couple minutes until they can start this like sort of counter charm.
Cool.
What are the 2 of you doing as you see this eldritch horror burst into being, stage wreathed in emerald flame?
I am looking for any way to turn off the audio equipment. I'm like assuming that this is like, I don't understand what's happening, but I'm like assuming that this has to do with the music. And Rhiannon had said that it's like a weird bardic thing that she does. And I'm like thinking through, I'm like, okay, well maybe if I can just turn off the speakers, other people won't be able to hear this.
Ooh,
so that's what I'm looking for.
Yes, let's roll about it. And I think actually your school teacher.
Sure.
Because like you've done
Teaching in front of a class, giving presentations.
Giving presentations.
Okay.
So I'll give you the 2 and the 1.
Okay, so a total of 3. All right. The good thing is I successfully locate maybe there's like a big giant red quick cable that I could like unplug and it would like boom power down everything. I think the bad thing would be I do that, but maybe it only works partially. Like maybe part of the audience can't hear anymore, but like the rest of them can.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
I would think the bad thing would be good is like you successfully turn off the audio. The bad thing would be like probably the backup boys like stop you.
Oh,
or like try to turn it back on.
Okay.
So roll them bones.
Oh.
Cocked.
Oh.
Oh no.
A 4, a 1, and a 1. Very bad rolls on my part. Okay. Well, I will give the 4 to the good thing.
Okay.
It's got to partly happen. The 1 to the bad thing.
Okay.
So
the 1 definitely happens. I think that you, as Ricky goes after Kevin and is being assaulted by Jolene, you kind of use that as a distraction. You see across the stage, the stage manager, or sound booth is kind of set up, and you start booking it that way, and you get about halfway to it, and the backup, Jolene sees you out of the corner of the eyes, and she turns and she's like, "Get him, y'all! Don't just stand there!" And you're assaulted by like 3 of the backup boys who like, grab you, and you go down. But on your way down, you grab a cord and yank out of the back of the speakers, and it shorts out some of the audio. So now it's just a little quieter, and you hear Jolene's screams, but she starts belting out this song and try to overcome that.
Oh no.
And you're like being pinned by these backup boys who are still in their little gold briefs, rapidly aging. What is Matt doing? Or not Matt, Josh.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm looking around. Jolene's fairly distracted. We got 3 of the other backup boys.
Yeah, there was only 5. So the 3 on Herbert, Kevin, and
So that's the last bit.
Ricky.
Is those last bits of the backup boys. But we need to keep Jolene distracted. And there's fire, so Mothman's no help.
Mothman is just looking around. Oh, pretty. Ow, that hurts. Oh, that hurts too.
Oh man.
So, short version. When was the last time any of you have seen a Tough Mudder competition?
Oh no.
Never. I don't think I've ever.
Okay, because Tough Mudder is a team-based outdoors competition.
Yeah.
All big, messy, very physical.
Love that.
It's not so much like football tackles and whatnot, but it's more of picking your teammates up and pushing them up the hill, focusing on who's the person at the bottom of the pile, literally planting their feet and being the block, being the human ladder for everyone else on the team.
Amazing.
So I'm used to being that guy on my team. We need to keep Jolene distracted. And I play on a team of 6.
All right.
So what if I manage to get Herbert and the other backup boys and start herding them towards Jolene physically and bodily?
Okay.
As like, let's go this way. Up and go and up and go and just consistently moving all of us forward, keeping her very focused on what's happening immediately in front of her rather than going forward for anything else.
I like that. I will also give you a Mothman surprise here as well. So, yes, the good thing is you successfully keep distracting Jolene. What is the bad thing? You're just not physically able to move these people?
The bad thing is the backup boys stop focusing on Herbert and start focusing on me.
Got it. All right.
I would also help you. Like, once I realized what you were doing, I would try to, like, get my feet and
we're helping each
haul
other
over
back and
help you.
forward.
For
So.
sure, yeah. Yeah. Roll it. Let's see. Your regular 2, Tough Mudder applies.
There's no way I was prepared for this.
No.
I would love to claim it, but no way.
Yeah, so roll them bones. Ooh.
How'd you do?
6, 6, and a 1.
Ooh.
Okay, where are you putting them?
As much as I want the knowledge I think it's more important to focus on the knowledge we have and working on that. So Jolene is fully distracted, and the backup boys are not focusing me down. So I'm keeping them together and keeping it all moving, but we've all legitimately basically body rushed Jolene with 5
Yes.
people.
Yeah, body rushing Jolene with 5 people. You hit her and knock her out of the air, and she falls and slides to the edge of the stage. And now she's like wreathed in that flame, and you hear her screech as like her skin starts falling away. That porcelain ivy white skin starts turning to black charred skin as you guys look up and see Biscuits and Gravy almost ready to play, and they strike the first chord and no sound comes out because you botched the sound.
Oh no!
But out of the corner of your eye, you see Mr. Brubaker like hauling ass across the plane, like shoving people aside and like futzing with the speaker board. But now Jolene is like solely distracted by you guys. And at this point, she takes a moment and stands up and looks down into the audience where these people are all mesmerized and picks up a that woman from the pumpkin line. She picks her up by the throat and just like cracks her neck open and like drains her of the life force, just turning into a complete skeleton, and tosses it away and stands back on her high-heeled shoes and says, "You're gonna have to get up awfully early in the day to get one over on old Jolene."
Oh my god.
But you see Mr. Brubaker getting to the sound equipment and futzing with it. If you guys can just hold on just a little bit more, as Jolene is, she's got this kind of like 2-voice thing going on where she's still singing and also like yelling out these like visceral insults to you with this giant shark mouth.
I yell out to Ricky like, "Help us! Keep her distracted!"
The one of us who is physically lacerated.
Yeah, for sure.
Ricky stands up after his hands covered in Sharpie, and there's a series of amplifiers on the stage leading up to Jolene. Ricky's
Okay.
gonna run across those amplifiers and do a Kamen Rider kick.
Do it. Yeah, I will say, good thing you knocked Jolene off the stage. Bad thing, you'll actually twist an ankle.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, the 2 and then your martial arts, so
Yep.
3.
I have rolled a 4, a 2, and a 1.
Ooh.
I will obviously put the 4 on a good thing. I would like her to be knocked down, if not off the stage necessarily.
Okay.
And the 2 and the 2 and the 1 are obviously in the bad thing.
Yeah.
That
Esports is
ankle-
a dangerous career, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think what happens is you run up across these amplifiers, do that kick. You get her up under the chin, but she rolls with it just in time. So it's a glancing blow. You definitely hit her, and like you hear something crack, and a couple of the shark teeth spray across the stage. But as she rolls and dodges, she just like grabs you out of the midair and slams you into the stage, and you go sliding across as you and you feel your ankle twist. The 2 of you, what's going on?
Oh my god.
How much time do we have before Mr. Brubaker?
This is all happening at the same time.
Yeah, so we've like watched Ricky leap up, do this big martial arts move, turning into a streak across the stage.
Ow.
And audio fuzz.
Yeah, you're hearing like popping and cracking of like mics, like that feedback being tested, but it's not ironed out quite yet. And he's like hurriedly doing this.
You get a free pass for a month if you can tell me how I can do something to her.
Oh my god. Okay. Here, her mouth is hurt, and I think I will just leap up and like grab onto her like face. And just like start like trying to manually like mechanically pull her down by her hurt mouth.
Yeah.
Gross.
2. Let's roll
Gross.
2, because I don't think your stuff
No,
applies
this
here.
is not relevant to my knowledge. 2 1s again.
Oh, no. You rush up, grab Jolene by the mouth, and she just chomps down, and you lose a hand. And you fall, and she says, and she pulls your own hand out of her mouth and starts
Fucking
licking your
gross.
fingers, and then tosses it back, and she says, all right, you all thought you could stop Jolene? And, like, more of her human appearance is, like, falling away as she's turning into this eldritch horror. One more
I turn around and look at the backup boys and say, hey guys, Jolene needs help. Come on, let's go.
Ooh, I like it.
Nice.
Roll 3, because I think the salesman definitely applies here.
Good thing the backup boys tackle Jolene.
Okay.
Bad thing, they run me over in the process.
Ooh, okay.
Good thing the backup
Alright.
boys tackle Jolene.
Okay.
I have a 3 for the bad thing.
All right, so partially happens. So the backup boys are like, yeah, let's help out Jolene. And they rush Jolene as she's like licking your fingers.
Gross.
And she looks up in time and says, what are you all doing? Ah! And she's swarmed. They're trying to like hoist her up, but they're like, I want to do it. No, let me do it. And they just like swarm. She, get off me. And in this process, she's like throwing them off, and she like is massively strong, so she throws them at you, and like one of the backup boys lands on you and like kind of pins you to the ground. So you all are scattered across the stage. Some of you bleeding, some of you like potentially broken bones.
Oh my god.
And she looks around and she says, "No one can stop me. And no sound comes out, and you look over and Mr. Brubaker just waves at you all, and
Like
she
holding my
stares.
severed hand. Like,
She stares at him as like the feedback rings out, and he had switched so now it's at the other stage, and you see Biscuits and Gravy. They still have that sort of dazed look, but not sort of like hypnotized like Jolene had, just like they're being empowered by something. And they say, yeah, we got asked to do a special encore. We thought it was strange since Jolene had her special performance here, kind of wrapping everything up tonight. But we got asked to do this, and we're going to play a special song. I don't understand why, but anyway, here's Wonderwall. And as Jolene hears this, her face drops, her jaw fully dishinges, and you hear, today is going to be the day that we finally throw it back to you. And magical arcane bolts lance from the other stage, hit Jolene in the forehead, and they say, by now, you should have realized what you have to do. They spiderweb down her body, and they say, I don't believe that anyone feels the way I do about you now. And they chain her to the ground. And then the song continues, and as it does, this arcane magic wraps around Jolene, pulling her deeper into the stage as she screams and hisses. And then after a moment, almost as soon as it happens, it is done. The sky stitches itself back together. It is a calm, balmy autumn night. There are 2 children who come out of a daze going, where's our mom?
I pull off my belt and give Herbert a tourniquet.
are we all still as injured as we were? Like, nothing magically heals when
Nothing magically healed, but you do see Mothman going around and like tending wounds, and he's like, I'm sorry, Sugar, I can't put this back on, but I can make it feel a little bit better. And he takes like a flaming piece of debris from that green and just cauterizes the wound.
2 games in a row.
And it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not a doctor, you know that. And then he looks over and says, oh my God, Kevin! And he runs over to Kevin, and Kevin's eyes go less glassy and says, what? Steve! Oh, I missed you so much. And he said, I missed you too, Sugar. Let's go home.
Oh my god.
And after a moment, something happened here. We can't tell what it was. The authorities don't really know, but like the correct responders come in. Cops come in and rope everything off, and there's paramedics tending wounds and everything. And the rest of you all are there as the last thing you see from the stage is Mothman princess carrying Kevin as they fly off into the night.
And we're just standing in the stage, me with a severed hand, you bleeding profusely from your chest.
In fantastic gold briefs.
You are covered in bruises and have a few broken bones.
Yeah.
Let's go home.
Do you think Mothman and Kevin are gonna move in with us now?
Why didn't we put them in the carriage house to begin with?
That's a good question.
You all go home, and in the coda, a couple days later, a package arrives for you all. Mothman and Kevin have not been seen. Moved out right away. There's a note in there from Mothman basically thanking you all for getting him through this this breakup. For you, Herbert, there is a brand new set of Lush bath bombs and bath salts and like a brand new robe. For Ricky, there's a brand new gaming console, controller, headphones, the whole 9 yards. For Josh, Mothman just left the keys to his van for you. And after a few days, things start getting back to normal for you all. And then the day comes where Mr. Brubaker, Cotton Eye Joe, knocks on the door and he's like, well, it's about that time, y'all.
Yeah, come on in, come on in. You want coffee first? You want to head straight on down?
No, let's go straight down to the basement. We got to get this out of here. And you all follow down to the basement, and he takes the key out, and for the first time since you've been in this house, this door is opened. And in this room, it's an old, almost the size of a closet, not a very big room at all. And there's an ornate box on a pedestal in the middle of it. And he takes it and says, I'm glad we found this. This shouldn't be in the world right now. Y'all know what you have here?
Nope.
No.
This here's the prison, the resting place of one Mr. Leroy Brown. The baddest man in the whole damn town. And we slowly fade to black.
Excellent.
Incredible. Take us away.
All right, hi. We just finished playing. Dang, Mothman won't move out. He said it was only for the weekend. I'm going to start our discussion and review of this game. So first of all, kicking it over to Tim, we'll say what were the likes and dislikes that you had for this game?
Okay, so the biggest like I had is I actually really like the dice system. I've played other games like this, like Lasers and Feelings, for instance, but having the players choose their good thing and their bad thing, and then deciding which direction that goes in, I think was a very fun mechanic I enjoyed playing with. Mm-hmm. The dislike is a pretty common one for me with micro RPGs, is that I don't know what the end of the game looks like. There's no direct failure consequences. There's no way for characters to... I'm not saying dying is necessary,
right,
but having a hard ending to know where the end of the game is going so that it isn't just purely up to the GM to decide when the game is over is a thing that I prefer. So those are my complaints. And my... what's the opposite of a complaint? Compliment? That's
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Matt? What were your likes and dislikes?
Honestly, what I liked about this game is it's just... It maintains the same level of lightheartedness throughout the entire rule setup.
Yeah.
To steal one of Max's favorite phrases, there's a lot of game under the hood here.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that can be done, but everything on surface, everything that's being shared with the players and the GM from the get-go is all meant on the concept of just this silly title where you read that and think, okay, it's going to be longer to say that correctly than it is to play the game. And then you get in and find out it's absolutely not.
Sure.
I'm also going to echo Tim on on the dice mechanic. This is one of the first times I've seen a mechanic where the good thing and the bad thing are two separate end results of the dice.
Right.
So being able to choose a bad thing and a good thing that don't necessarily affect each other, because so many games are the roll one die, okay, any modifiers, okay, you pass or you fail, or given levels thereof. Having a good thing and a bad thing that can, and you have to choose when you roll a 6 and a 1. Do you either succeed at the good thing and let the bad thing crush you, or do you fail at the good thing and then the bad thing does not happen, period? It sets up a dichotomy of choice that's actually really cool there.
Yeah.
Honestly, my only dislike is I'm not familiar with the Mothman lore. That's my biggest issue with the dislike
quite a
at this
bit of
point.
liberties with some of the Mothman lore.
Yeah, I mean, but that comes down to the actual gameplay, and that's a totally different thing.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
this one definitely has a lot of. We can review the game, or we can review the gameplay.
Yeah, for sure.
And that this is definitely one of those games where you have to be very specific about the kind of table you bring it to, because it's going to play very, very differently for every individual person who touches it.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt. Max, what are your thoughts, likes, and dislikes?
Yeah. So something that I really loved about this game is that, and I'm not sure how much of this is the game versus how much of it was Manny's wonderful jamming, but
Thank you.
I really love the hallucinogenic quality of the Mothman being real in a world that is otherwise exactly like our own. You know, they didn't necessarily mention the existence of other cryptids. There isn't other magical powers. None of us had magic powers. I love that the game threads this weird, fantastical needle of Mothman being real in this like incredibly bizarre cryptid situation in a very mundane real life context of you have this roommate who won't move out and he's drinking all your coffee and leaving omelet mess in the kitchen was like primo shit. I loved that. I think and I would echo what others said too. I loved the good and bad thing, and that those could happen simultaneously at the same time, rather than like a pass fail kind of situation. I think something I struggled with though was identifying what the bad thing should be. I think I sometimes, good thing made sense. Usually if I'm rolling for something, it's because there's something I want to achieve. So it was like natural to me that the good thing would be known. The bad thing, well, it's something I liked mechanically. I struggled with it creatively. What should that bad thing be? Okay, I don't want it to just be the opposite condition of the good thing. Okay, what's something bad but not too bad but bad enough? You know, it was like a weird balance, and I kind of found that that's not necessarily maybe a critique of the game as it's written, but just like it was a challenge, challenging complication.
It's certainly not a mechanic I would necessarily recommend for really, really new players.
Yes,
for sure.
Yes.
Coming in to be like, oh, how do I say a good thing that I want my character to accomplish, and then also say something that's bad enough that you're willing to let your character suffer for?
Right,
Yeah.
right. But not too much, and also not infringing on other characters and their story beats, and, you know, that was a tough putt.
Yeah. Thank you, Max.
How about you as the GM?
There's, I mean, I don't have too much to add because I think I'm kind of on the same page with everyone else here. One thing I liked as a GM is kind of like my like and my dislike is that it's alternately really easy on a GM because I'm not rolling. I don't roll dice at all. That's all you guys. I just have to tell you what you're seeing, answer your questions, things like that. But the trade-off for that, and this is kind of the dislike, is there's so much like for a micro RPG, there's kind of a lot of like prep work for a GM to be like, well, what's the complication? What is Mothman trying to do? What's the win condition? What's the lose condition? Because that's not really in the rules. Kind of like what Tim said is like, when do we end this game?
Yeah.
And so like there's not a clear way to do that. I do really like the mechanic of the good and bad thing happening, and kind of going back to what you said, Max, of like the bad thing can't just be like the good thing not happening, because that's already the mechanic. And so I think it's good because it challenges players to do that, like a little bit of extra work, but also is not a great mechanic for first-time players. Also, I think the title alone is just like the biggest seller of this game.
Absolutely.
So
like,
good.
the title and like the whole setup of like playing a game where you're trying to get your crappy roommate to move out is
So good.
mwah. Like that part is so good, but like how do you do that? Because I've had crappy roommates and I don't know how to get them to move out before, you know? So like
Yeah.
So
Way too Midwestern for this.
yeah, right. So those are, you know, I don't think I added a whole lot, but kind of agreed with everyone. So moving on to a more open-ended question that anyone can like jump in and discuss here. What was the game trying to do, and was it successful? And what, if anything, would you change?
All right, I'm going to jump right in on that first one.
I knew Matt
Yeah.
was ready to go on this one.
What was the game trying to do? I have no fucking clue. This game was so open. It's very silly in all the best ways, but I have no idea what this game's intended emotional story beats, demographic. None of that showed up to me. I didn't get anything about what was happening from reading the rules at all.
No, for sure.
I was completely lost.
I think the thing that this game is trying to do is they had this really great title and they tried to make a game about it. And
They did. They made a great game.
Yeah.
so from that perspective, like it succeeded in having a really dope, fun title, and a game exists to kind of like justify that title being there. But yeah, I think the game is supposed to be just like a silly, fun, like something you can do anything with, which I think is both its strength and its weakness.
That's a great way to put it, Manny, because I feel like what it was trying to do is a cryptid-themed slice of life comedy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And at that point, that's like open season. Whatever you want that slice of life comedy to be. It could be a romantic comedy. It could be a, like, you know, Shaun of the Dead-esque slasher comedy. It could be, you know, take your pick of what that is. In our table and in our play, especially because of your really clever, fun GMing, it became this like really rich world set in Appalachia with these really fun like musical connections and Jolene and Dolly Parton and like amazing stuff. And that was really fun and cool. And all of that was like your fabrication and our gameplay. None of that
Exactly,
was
yeah.
really in the game. So does it succeed on creating space for a cryptid slice of life comedy? Yes. And I could see people playing it and not having fun, you know, based
Yeah.
on
Sure,
whatever that
yeah.
ends up being. It may go somewhere that you don't find enjoyable. And that's more to do with your table than the game.
Yeah.
Agreed.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think the GM like questions list. There's a series of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dice rolls you can do to randomly generate a story. I feel a lot of the stuff in there is like where the themes and feelings of the game is coming from, and they're all over the place. I think necessarily all over the place. Because like one of the games is like, hey, your goal is to get Mothman back on his feet, but then the one right next to it is a heist of the Cryptid Museum. Like those are very different games, especially to the one that we ran. So like I think this is definitely a GM heavy game. You need a good GM who's improvising and willing to like roll into this very strange setting.
Well, and with the GM like tips and roles that you can do, and this is I don't know if it's a problem, just a common trait that I've seen over like a lot of the games that we've played, because those like prompts are kind of all over the place. You end up getting things that are like very similar. Like let me look at this. So like the Heist at the Cryptid Museum as the what you need to do, but if the complication is sightings have caused Mothman mania, that's kind of like they mesh, but it's also kind of the same thing. And so like depending on how those dice rolls, you could just end up with like the same like sort of prompt just stated differently. And that was kind of that would be something that I would like maybe want to change, or maybe even like the complications, the what you need to do, and Mothman has a premonition could all just be rolled into one, maybe a larger table or just one thing. So maybe that's what I would change. It alternately feels like I need more and less choices.
That's a great way to put it, right?
Yeah.
Like, it being offering this pretty lightweight structure and then putting a lot of the onus on the GM and the table to craft the story is a huge asset. And like, I could see that easily being a total confusion or paralytic in terms of what to do and where to take it.
Yeah, you could cut the entire table out and have the story be like, this is what the story is. Mothman needs to get back on his feet because he put all his money into crypto and it tanked.
Yeah,
and like
sure.
you could tell that could be the one story this game tells, and then give more on the back end of like what the GM is supposed to do, what the how the players might be able to like feed into this thing. I mean, this is like cutting table space or cutting a page. I'm getting like 4 more inches by cutting the table out, right?
Yeah, because it's so
4 more
small.
inches on a single column, on a 2-column.
Yeah.
Here's a thought, though. What if you took this from a 1-page game to a 2-page game? So it's 1 page back and front? Because you could have that little, like...
I don't know what else you would do with that space.
It's simple. Like, it's like you said, Manny, you need both more and less options. So that front page is... And you cut out that last little table. You put in the, hey, here's 2 beginner stories you could do. Like, this is the way this will run.
Yeah.
And then on the back page is lists of possible complications, things to do, and several different D6 tables. So you could roll up completely random stories, and you could say, like, okay, here's the silly table. Here's the serious table. Here's the millennial problems table.
Get your economy
that a
table.
lot.
Yeah. So you could create so much more to it. But I'm also the kind of guy who likes the crunch factor of those sorts of things.
Yeah.
And that's...
I do too.
I also just think tables are really pretty.
That would be really cool.
Right.
Like if you have your baseline beginner's game, like, okay, if you've never done it before, here's the basic. It's decided for you. But if you were at a table, like let's say you were playing this on Halloween and you knew you wanted like a horror game. Like, okay, here's a version of this story that's like really gonzo with like huge horror elements, but they're only living in that one table, which you could choose not to do.
Yeah.
The only reason for having a table like this is to increase replayability.
Yes.
If you're playing this for the first time, you only need one scenario. And then the other thing I wanted to bring up, which is a point I'll bring up more than once probably, is we don't know what restrictions the creator of this game put on themselves.
That's true.
Right.
Because like when I wrote my one page RPG, I was like, it's gotta fit on a 1 page, and like I probably could have fit way more shenanigans in there if I made it a 2-pager. But by making a 1-pager, you put more restrictions on yourself. So like if Paul was trying to make purely a 1-page game and not wanting to expand to a 2nd page, then like that must have been a choice that he made.
Yeah.
So this might be a little inside baseball, but I can actually speak to that a little bit. This game is actually a sequel game to a game called Aw Snap, Bigfoot Stole My Car, with my friend's birthday present inside. Which is it's sort of a reskin of Lasers and Feelings.
Yeah,
and
you
I think
can
that
see the DNA
you
of
can
that all over
definitely
that.
see it in this game. And so I think this game was meant to be sort of like a follow-up or a sequel to that story, but with a different
Different
system.
cryptid.
Different cryptid,
different
different
cryptid.
context.
And like I would actually be interested if like this was a whole like line of games. Like I would love to
different
see
cryptids.
oh shoot what's the capybara? Not capybara.
All beans.
The chupacabra.
Beans, the chupacabra got fired and now we're about to lose the house. Or something like that, But one other thing that I'll say that I would change in this game is there's a lot of things that like I as a GM didn't know when I should do, because like this last little table, Mothman has another premonition, and some of them are like a good thing happens to a like an enemy, a bad thing happens to a friend, things like that. There's nothing in the rules to be like, this is when you should roll another Mothman premonition.
Yeah.
And the Mothman surprise, all it says is when it feels dramatically appropriate, the DM can offer a Mothman surprise.
Yeah, when is that?
Yeah.
Like, when is that? Yeah, exactly. So I was like, and I guess this would kind of depend on how you wanted to play it, and I kind of treaded the line here of like, does that actually come from Mothman, or does it come from like how well you know Mothman, or is this just like the Mothman surprise doesn't have an in-game
Yeah.
equivalent?
Is
Is it just something for like the players, or is it something for the characters?
Yeah. I feel that like, I mean, we haven't reviewed Lasers and Feelings, but I imagine anyone listening to this has probably heard of Lasers and Feelings. But Lasers and Feelings has the mechanic of laser feelings. When you roll your number exactly, you get laser feelings. You get to ask the GM a question. I feel this is obviously very much the laser feelings version, but because it's twisted and it's given the when the GM decides, you can assign a thing to it, which fits with the rest of the mechanics, which is cool. But it definitely lacks the spontaneity of laser feelings by rolling your number. I feel that if they had given like, oh, if you roll like a 2, because 2s look like eyes, Mothman eyes, right? Then you get your whatever thing. But that's just a thought. It might not even work out in a way that's fun.
Yeah, and it's a neat mechanic, and like I try when I run games, especially for like a review of this, I try to hit everything in the rules, at least to be like, I don't want to do this whole game with not doing a Mothman surprise.
Yeah.
'cause
Exactly.
That's in the rules. So I'm like, but when do I do it? What triggers it? Does Mothman have to be the one that gives you this, or is it just a question for the GM? So like that was a little complicated for me.
Yeah.
A little more explanation of how that would activate might be helpful.
Yeah. Cool. So, unless anyone has any final thoughts on that, the most important question that we have to ask ourselves here: do we table it or shelve it? Table it meaning we would play this again, or shelve it meaning it goes on the shelf, and we're not interested in playing again. Tim, what about you?
Personally, I really enjoyed this game a lot, so don't take this as like a bad thing. But I don't think I would want to play this game again. I'm going to shelve it because I also want to check out the aw snap Bigfoot stole my car with my friend's birthday present inside. Like I feel that this game might not offer anything big enough for me to not want to just run through the whole gamut,
For sure. Yeah.
So yeah, shelve it for me.
Honestly, I would shelve this game. It is a fantastic game. I loved playing it. But because I prefer bigger, longer running games, the only reason I would bring this out would be to legitimately test a silly, supernatural themed, long running game. Get the players to decide the basics of their characters, get them interested in playing in character, and then if they're still interested in the concept of the game, we take this rule set, put it up on the shelf, and they just take the characters they created and give them stats.
Yeah, this is a bit of a sidebar. Like, I do, like, going back a little bit, sorry to interrupt, but, like, I do think this would work really well as, like, a world-building game for a longer campaign or one-shot or something like that. I think that would...
Like if you wanted to
do
kick
really
off a
well.
Monster of the Week game or something.
Awesome.
Start with this as your monster number 1.
Yep.
I'll snap Vampire the Masquerade stole my lunch money.
Exactly.
I mean, What We Do in the Shadows is one of the bigger shows right now.
Oh,
Same exact
absolutely.
fiasco.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
got the
thinking
same-
about this.
yeah.
I had the exact thought of like, this would be great with like What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah. But aside from that one specific scenario, I would love to have this game on my shelf. I would love to buy an anthology of Paul's games, especially if they're all titled the same and have the same like cryptid feel.
Yeah.
But they'd sit on the shelf. I'd put them in frames.
Max.
I'm going to be an outlier here. I would play it again. I think there's a lot of situations where micro RPGs can be more introspective works of art rather than necessarily great for beginners. I do feel like this game is light enough and open enough that I think it actually could be a good game that I would bring for maybe newer players. And it's like got a funny, catchy concept. The title is really clear. Cryptids are super hot right now. I think this would be a game that I would absolutely be like, with friends on Halloween, you know, hey, you want to get together and play something fun and goofy? I'll DM it for you, you know, and then I'll just take on the onus of like making sure that it's fun.
Yeah.
So I would totally play it again, and I would GM it for sure.
I think I'm kind of in the same boat with you, Max. I think I would table this one too. With the caveat of like this wouldn't be like a weekly game or anything.
Correct.
This would be a fun thing to be like, if you did have a regular group that you played with, to be like, let's take a break, let's do something like wacky and fun and whatever. Or if you have like a friend who's like interested in tabletop gaming that is not the big ones, the sorcerers on the beach, as Matt calls them, but isn't a total newbie. Because I think if someone like had no context of tabletop and looked at this, they'd be like, nope. But I think this is a good intermediate game to just be like, this is another option that exists in the world of games. So
Yeah.
sounds like we're split right
So
down the
2
middle.
shelvets and 2 tablets.
Awesome.
Cool.
What do you think, listeners? Get in the comments.
Yes. Email us your thoughts.
Be our tiebreaker.
Love it.
All right, so let's do our round of plugs. Manny, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'm Manny. They, them pronouns. I'm not on the internet. Don't at me. But if you like D&D art, I sort of have an Instagram that I never update, but I can do commissions. Give me money for them drawings.
And what's the tag?
You got
I'll do that. You can find me at In Character Art on Instagram.
All right, Matt.
I'm Matt. He, him pronouns. I'm also not on the internet. If you guys like this enough, maybe you could talk me into it. Max.
Yeah, so I'm Max, they, them pronouns.
All right.
That's it.
And I'm Tim, he, him pronouns, and I want to thank you for listening to Table It. You can find us at micro_RPGs on Twitter, or email us at microrpgs@gmail.com. Please submit games you want to hear us play with the subject line New Game. Our theme this episode is Chill Vibrant Jazz Theme by Danydory, and we'll see you